Geoffrey II, called Martel, was Count of Anjou from 1040 to 1060. He was the son of Fulk the Black. He was bellicose and fought against William VII, Duke of Aquitaine, Theobald I, Count of Blois, and William, Duke of Normandy. During his 20-year reign he especially had to face the ambitions of the Bishop of Le Mans, Gervais de Château-du-Loir, but he was able to maintain his authority over the County of Maine. Even before the death of his father in 1040, he had extended his power up to the Saint-Ouen, where he founded the Abbey aux Dames. The first mention of this man in the Gesta Normannorum reads, Geoffrey, Count of the Angevins, nicknamed Martel, a treacherous man in every respect, frequently inflicted assaults and intolerable pressure on his neighbors. In alliance with King Henry I of France, Count Geoffrey laid siege to Tours in the winter of 1042-3. After the Battle of Noe on 21 August 1044, Count Theobald I of Blois-Chartres was taken prisoner by, to whom he surrendered Tours with Chinon and Longueuil, excluding, however, the monastery of Martel. Henry and Geoffrey became estranged after this, and were not reconciled again until c. 1052, when the names appear together in a charter of August of that year. This is in conjunction with the rebellion of William of Toulouse against the Duke of Normandy, and Count Geoffrey's taking possession of the city of Mans. Allied once again with King Henry, Count Geoffrey assaulted Normandy and seized the towns of Domfront and Alençon, evidently with the help of treachery within. Duke William laid siege to Domfront, which resisted his efforts to retake it throughout the winter of 1052. And it was at this point that Toulouse withdrew from the siege and started his rebellion. Duke William's subsequently rapid retaking of first Alençon and then Domfront drove Count Geoffrey back across the Norman border into Maine. While Count Geoffrey was off balance, Duke William laid siege to Toulouse Castle at Arques. King Henry failed to relieve Arques, and Toulouse' rebellion had failed and he was exiled by late 1053. In late January, early February 1054, Count Geoffrey and King Henry together invaded Normandy and marched down the Seine toward Rouen. The king had divided his army and sent the other wing through eastern Normandy under the command of his brother Eudes, supported by Count Reginald of Clermont, Count Ralph of Montdidier, and Guy I, Count of Ponthieu. This army was defeated in a battle near Mortemer. Upon learning of this reverse, King Henry insisted upon beating a hasty retreat out of Normandy, and perforce Count Geoffrey accompanied him. For the next several years, the war was centered in the County of Maine, with Duke William on the offensive, but King Henry in 1057, burning to avenge the insult inflicted on him by the Duke, summoned Geoffrey, Count of Anjou, to prepare a large army for another expedition into Normandy. This combined effort placed Duke William temporarily on the defensive. He retreated before the invaders as they moved deeper into Normandy. After penetrating to the Bessin, the Franco-Angevin army began to ford the river Dives near the estuary, which is tidal. After the king and Count Geoffrey had crossed over, the remainder of their army got stuck on the opposite bank by the incoming tide. Duke William launched a sudden attack and defeated them. King Henry and Count Geoffrey withdrew again from Normandy and never returned. Count Geoffrey continued to offer resistance in Maine against the Norman expansion until his death on 14 November 1060. Family. An unusual entry in the Cartillary of Rancery describes a dispute over a vineyard seized by Geoffrey Martel and granted to his wives, or rather concubines, Agnes, Gracie, Adele, and Adelaide. Whether these women were his wives or concubines, each relationship can be described. Geoffrey I's first wife was Agnes of Burgundy, the widow of William V, Duke of Aquitaine. She and Geoffrey married in 1032, but had divorced by 1050. His second wife was Gracie of Longueuil. Geoffrey II dismissed her to marry Adele, the daughter of a Count Otto, perhaps Otto II, Count of Blois. He also divorced Adele, and took Gracie back as his wife. His last wife was a German woman named Adelaide. Despite these marital escapades, Geoffrey died childless. He became a monk in St. Nicholas d'Angers in 1060. Succession. He was the last member of his paternal house to rule Anjou. He was succeeded by his distaff nephew Geoffrey III of the House of Aquitaine. Bibliography. W. Georges, The Knight, the Lady, and the Priest, The Making of Modern Marriage in Medieval France. Jumiges, William of Vitalis, or Orderic Torini, Robert of, The Gesta Normanorum Ducum of William of Jumiges, or Orderic Vitalis, and Robert of Torini, edited and translated by Elizabeth M.C. Van Houts, Oxford, Clarendon Press. Douglas, David C. William the Conqueror, Berkeley and Los Angeles, University of California Press.